Be continued. Yes. Interesting. Very curious. District Court to Courtroom 9. The court will now reconvene the trial of Miss Lena Sky. Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. Officer in charge of the guarding of the evidence room on the day of the crime. Yes, Marshal. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Oh, I know, you're a patrolman. As for my name, if you listen hard nothing, you can hear the howling wind calling it now. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind. I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best we get on to this quickly. Please share with us your testimony the day of the crime. In English. Partner, I am talking English. Day of the crime. My job was to keep a wary eye on the bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyways. If I remembered right, I was at the street side saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras in the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Well, yes, well, what about the fingerprinted activated locks inside the evidence room? Fingerprint activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses, now don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. No, like, Gumshoe said that not everyone knew that it was a, fingerprint activated. My job was to keep a wary eye on the bone archer. I want some information, partner. How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That's room still. That room's so still, even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who entered the records. You interred them? Videos of nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase the tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. This guy has a flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room? They say I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know lets rules get in his ways. No desperados I know join the police force. So, Mr. Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner. Can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. How's this guy avoid being fired? Besides, the room protected by 2 security systems. You used to be a detective, so you used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course. Back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence. And yet you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanisms. Sorry, partner, I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how the bike works. That's quite incredible. The sensors on the locker handles that cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Now that he mentions it, Detective Gumshoe did say something like that too. At any rate, it doesn't seem like this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? If I remember right, I was at the street side saloon at the time it went down. The only one I actually mind talking it. What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Now even Angel's steak lunches can beat the parlor's long pole sepia pasta. Vongole? Well, yeah, Vongole sepia spaghetti. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope that this has at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. This is usually where Edgeworth says. Did you not want to raise it this year? I'm just an innocent drive-on man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time to hit the trail. Out of ammo, Officer Marshall? That's right, partner. Or as you'd call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, then you better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back into the sunset, I should say. One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Apparently your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card on my sleeve, so I'd best keep my cool. Before I use it, though, I'd better up the ante. Job is to keep aware on the bone notcher. I can use it now. My man is good. What? What? Fuck you. He literally says when we press him on it that... He said he hasn't been there in weeks. Can't say I do. I haven't been there in weeks. We have fingerprints that say that it wasn't. Can I present these lockers on him? No. See nothing at fault. Fuck you. Must be on the wrong track. Oh my god. How am I supposed to fucking get this, dude? Even though I swear to god. This fucking pisses me off. Let's run through here one more time. Yeah, like I said, it's like 3 times a day. It's just a fucking... We have prints, so we already know that he was in that room, so I don't know why I can't just present that as evidence. I guess if I'm out of ammo, fuck it, right? He did say fucking use his trump card on it. Fucking why not? Maybe. He said he's out of ammo. Fuck it. And it works here. Why doesn't it work on the other one? When he said he hasn't been there 3 weeks. Actually, no. You have been in there before 3 weeks. That's just me. Whatever. Officer Marshall, doesn't strike you as odd. That is, you being called to testify like this. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crib. I pay my respects. That is, I make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my prince would be in there. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your bloodstained fingerprints were at the scene of the crime. The blood was wiped away, however. Luminance has clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall, it seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall? About the blood-stained fingerprints. Very well. You may begin your testimony about your fingerprints. Fuck. Found at the crime scene, at the scene of the crime. Bloodstained fingerprints. Like I said, it's only natural my fingerprints would be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place that bloodstained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See? I had nothing to do with it. Witness with the explanation seems valid. Appears to be wearing gloves, I should say. Although there is room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. The defense may now cross-examine. This guy's hiding something, I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. Bloodstained fingerprints. Like I said, it's only natural my fingerprints be in the evidence room. Yep. That it was because you know how did you put it? Pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. And that and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What? What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's my locker. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now should be a heap of broken dreams. Let's see. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently his fingerprint data was never changed. He must have been using a fingerprint lock without even knowing it. The problem with it, though, is that there's that piece of cloth or whatever that's hanging underneath it. And as Gumshoe said, it must have been really recent because the people come around and it gets torn off and, you know, or just readjusted. One of them just happened to be at the same place as my handprint. So then, what about the bloody handprint? Wasn't mine, it's no mystery. Please explain. The locker is covered with my fingerprints. It just happened. It's just so happened. The murderer touched my fingerprint. That's a pretty big chance. The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. Chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward from me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Unrelated? They're as different as night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal. One's gotta be do with breakfast, while the other type of murder. He's right. Although seemingly alike, they're totally different. I don't see what homonyms have to do with this. Well, you know, those fingerprints are homonyms if you don't get my drift. Murderer wearing gloves. How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up with the reporters. There was a bloodstain at the scene, though, to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. See, that's the thing. I was fucking pointing that out. He was fucking wearing gloves. Go fuck yourself, game. Fuck you. He was wearing gloves, so you couldn't have possibly activated the fucking sensor. Fuck you. However, no fingerprints were detected on the handprint. Like, why would he put on gloves after opening that locker? Yeah, go fuck yourself. Jesus. I knew I was fucking right. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place his hands on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint. That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? The sea of blue. And the desert is just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this. The security tape. So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully when you're going with where you're going with the cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Now then, continue your testimony. Too bad it wasn't me in the video, right, partner? I can't let him spoil on this one. I've got to find something. Something decisive to tie Marshall to this crime. I.e., he's gonna make me fucking present something. I.e., I'm just gonna save. Because I don't want to fucking get fucked here. French press. What do you mean by that? So, you want me to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. That video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. The camera is panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone familiar with the camera's position, he could leave the room without being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Oh, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in the video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so. Is there? Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Mr. Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright. We might wind up being the one making the mistake. Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us where the incriminating evidence on the witness. Jake Marshall. Wait. Just making sure nothing's over there. Nothing. Nothing. Oh, okay. He went and... Oh my god. Don't make me do this. Don't make me do this. Don't make me do this to you. Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Yeah, exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. You see, this locker has a white cloth sticking out. It's the witness's locker. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Oh hey, there's a bloody handprint there as well. Oh, the white cloth, it's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? Or I should just say dirty handprint. When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. It's all coincidence. It's all a coincidence. It would seem. Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was open? That don't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened the locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only one who could open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I'll call your bluff. You say open that locker, now prove it. fingerprint sensor? We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. Yep. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? I only got one forward for you, partner. No! Order. Witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you, this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Olay, please answer the question. Was he now a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure out the rest from here. We can? Have a look at these floor plans. There's no place for someone to hide in the evidence locker. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then, where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. The only possible conclusion. Well, then let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? I'd hope here. I want it to be so bad. Please, just like right here. Just right there. Just please. Officer Marshall was standing right here. So Officer Meekins didn't notice him standing there. That's almost as credible as Meekins' warped theory. Your chamber's empty, partner. Reload. No! Now they're ganging up on me. I just didn't want to fucking do it. Officer Meekins should have seen him in the evidence room. You're a piece of fucking shit. Let's hear it. I hate everyone. Oh wait, no, did I just press the wrong fucking dude? I did. Fucking Christ. Fucking Christ.